and died. Got beaten up, beaten to death, and died. And um, the dying must trigger the necro animation, whatever you call it, where the virus probably goes into another phase um, where they can actually affect other people with that fever that they get, that sweating, um, pains, aches and pains, or whatever side effects this fever that they could pass on when they chomp on people. The fever doesn't actually turn them into a zombie because they're zombies already, though. All they have to do is die to become a zombie because everyone's already infected. Kind of sad. Is there any hope? They might as well just give up or shoot themselves in the head. Nah, no, there must be a way. There must be a way. Maybe the virus dies when it runs its course. Course. What book was I up to? Anyway, Rick is talking to his friend Shane in the cop car, and or he's called out to a crime, some disturbance on the highway, some bandits, some hostile people in a car, and they set up a roadblock, and as it turns out, Rick gets shot in the guts, or his side, and he has to go to the hospital. And Shane breaks the news to his wife and son, who are very distressed. And in the meantime, while he's in hospital, I think he's in a coma, and it's for a few weeks or months, and the zombie outbreak escalates to the point that enough zombies are filling the cities and wandering the highways and byways. They're everywhere. I keep calling them zombies. They call them walkers. It's well, same thing really, but I should stick to their vernacular, I guess. Did I show you this? No Way Out. It's got a picture of Michonne on it with her katana. She's supposed to have some skill. Well, yeah, as you can see in the series, TV series, and in the graphic novels, she's like a modern day samurai, a female modern day samurai. I own a sword. It's behind me here. It's just a replica. Nah, you couldn't stab anyone. You couldn't actually sever anything with it. That's the blade. It's just a replica. It's not that sharp. See, I can run it's not even cutting my hand. It would still hurt. You could possibly stab someone with it if you applied enough force. And you could smash this into someone's face. That's the blade. Yeah, it's not a real sword. It's just it just looks good. Oh, it's Glamdring, Gandalf's sword from Lord of the Rings. So I'd feel pretty silly if the same thing happened to us. We had a zombie apocalypse and or something, some sort of disaster, and we had to gather weapons and that, defend our homes from mutants or apes or whatever. No, I probably wouldn't use this. I have an axe, which I thought was a replica. It's more likely to do damage. It's even got special leather covers for the blades. One fell off before I had it in the bag. Oops, there. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. Now, I ran my finger along the blade and I still got the mark. It just bled. It took a while to heal. Yeah, it's pretty sharp. The blade's actually sharp. But it's also very unwieldy. It takes a lot of strength training and practice to for me to actually learn how to use it properly. As it is, I just use it. I just keep it. It's just a collector's item for me. Yeah, it feels good to hold. Basically, that's about it. I could possibly knock someone out with it if I just hit him with the flat piece. If I have the drop on them, of course. I guess if someone saw me coming, they'd pull out a gun, or run, or get in their car and try to run me over, or whatever, or call the cops. But what was I up to? Van Halen. When David Lee Roth? No, that's Sammy Hagar, I think. Yeah, Sammy Hagar singing. We find ourselves. They're in the snow. I don't think I'm up to that bit yet. Yeah, that's 15. After David Lee Roth left, A Larger World. It's getting close to the end. It's 16. Anyway, Rick wakes up in hospital and all the doors are barred. Everyone's dead. No one's in there. There are some bodies, and he comes up to a door that's been chained shut, and I think it's got something written on it. I forget what it was. But when he comes closer and tries to just pulls it open a bit to look through, he sees a corpse-like hand come through and try to grab him, and he backs away. He knows something's up. He goes outside and sees all these bodies lined up on the pavement in the parking lot. Just rows of bodies in body bags, and the smell, it reeks. It reeks. He soon appropriates a bicycle and rides to his house. It's empty. It looks like his wife and kid have left. The whole neighborhood is empty. And he sits outside. As he's sitting outside, he sees his first walker come towards him. He thinks it's a person. He gets up and calls out. I think he gets up and calls out to it. And that's when he runs into I forget his name. If I said he was what's his name? I don't know his name, but he's an Afro-American, another Afro-American. Please don't accuse me of being racist when I say that. I guess I have a complex about it. Being a white person myself, well, a person who thinks himself is white, but Anyway, and he had his son. I think his son belts him Rick over the head with a shovel because he thinks he might be a walker or hostile. And he wakes up in a house close to his that they hold up in, had barricaded. The walkers come out more at night, and he finds out this bloke's wife is one of them. And anyway, to make a long story short, he soon Rick is soon riding on a horse in his full police uniform with some guns that he appropriated from the precinct, his local precinct where he works, after he parted ways with the bloke who found him, whose name I can't remember. And he goes into Atlanta. They must be in the neighborhood that close to the city, the suburbs. So he rides to the city on his horse, and he soon runs into hordes of zombies, and he loses the horse and holes up in a tank, and that's the end of the first episode. After he killed the one of the occupants who woke up as a zombie, I think he shot him point blank with the gun the zombie was carrying. He soon runs into Glenn, who shows him the way to the department store where they hold up with Merle, T-Dog, Andrea, and some other people. And soon they make a break for the place, their campsite, which is on the outskirts of the city, in the wilderness nearby, near a reservoir where they go fishing. And I think it seems strange here that Rick actually slowly took over the group, even though he wasn't a part of it from the start. But one of his main connections to this group is that Shane and his wife and son are there with them. That's the one thing. And I just think it's kind of funny he became the leader. Maybe it's by virtue of him being a cop. And in the beginning it was him and Shane, I guess, and Daryl. Daryl, who is a good hunter, excellent marksman with his crossbow. They lost a few along the way. Pink Floyd, The Wall. Is that Bob Geldof? Oh no, it's Pink Floyd. I don't know why I said Bob Geldof. For some reason I got him mixed up. Anyway, Something to Fear. Is that 17? That's the last one I got. I'll have to buy the others sometime when I have money to spare. But I'm not going to read them. I'm not going to read them just yet because I'm just kind of preoccupied. I'm preoccupied with Elite Dangerous and Facebook when I can. And I'm also trying to spend more time outdoors, doing exercise, lots of walking, running. I might do jogging when my legs get stronger. I might do some impromptu weightlifting to build some muscle. Just in case we have our own apocalypse, I'm prepared for it. I might have to do some firearms training as well. Impromptu. So find a place where I can do that legally, or maybe crossbow training or hunting or whatever. It's not something that seems very common in the area where I live. But anyway, I just think it seems odd because as the series, it seems odd that Rick Rick became a very paranoid, delusional, yet respected leader by virtue of his authority and his his ability to stay alive, I guess, his survival abilities. But it's also obvious he was crazy, especially since he lost his wife. But he still kept it together for his son, I guess. Basically, I guess they had each other's back even more since that happened, and that's how he kept it together. Uh, and he was always, I think, him and Earl. There was a lot of trust, a strong bond of trust between those two as well. Um, but my point is the way he would turn other people away that wanted to join the group, and I just think it's very odd. It's very odd how he came to be the leader when they allowed him into the group, obviously by virtue of his wife and son, perhaps, or they just didn't have the authority to turn him away. But he grew distrustful of others, strangers. They only took in people that really needed their help, I guess, and that could prove themselves to be useful in the long run. He had a very good mental detection of people that were um, people that people that might be a problem for the group. Anyway, yeah, he had this, I think, a very good instinct for who was in and who was out. That's it. But anyway, I'll show you my other books. There are other books I have. Aside from this, it's the survival guide. It's got bios on every character, but it was written, I think it was written only for 3 seasons. Well, not 3 seasons, but for the books up to a certain point. So it hasn't got how things have happened. So the books are graphic novels. They go, there must be 25 of them now. I've only got 17, so, and things have changed since number 18, I guess. That's the survival guide. 59 minutes to go. I'll just put them. Apologies for my lack of professionalism. It's just I felt like talking about this, and the place where I usually post my ideas, well, have they've put me on a month's hiatus. That will be up in nearly 2 weeks, I guess, or a week and a bit. That's The Walking Dead official companion. It's got a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But it's only been, it was only written since, I think it's only based on the first season. Or the first 2 seasons, I guess. It says so. New season this fall. AMC. Probably season 1 and season 2. A lot of artwork from the comics. There's the tank. I thought it was strange. The last scene with the tank in it, as the camera pans, zooms out from on top of it, rising up into the sky. I just saw this movie with Brad Pitt in it. I was watching it. I saw this guy with a weird haircut. He had his hair shaved on both. Had all his head shaved here, but it was still on top. Kind of like a mohawk, except it wasn't standing up. It was like a bowl cut. It turned out to be the guy who played Shane. What's his name? John Bernthal, Shane Walsh. Yeah, it was him. I thought it was pretty amusing. Oh no, there's my voice. That's another video. Yeah, a Furies about I think it was during the war in the Europe. The Americans fighting the Germans, and they had. It's about this crew, tank crew. I won't tell you how it turns out, but the last scene is exactly. They do the exact same shot of the tank rising above the tank, amongst all the wounded. Unlike, like in The Walking Dead, this tank, amongst all the walkers, and you can see where they were attacking Rick's horse. They were all feeding off the horse. Anyway, it kind of looked like the same shot. I thought they might have been making a nod towards The Walking Dead, or I don't know. I could be wrong there, but if you've seen both, if you remember that scene from the very first episode of The Walking Dead, and you should go see this movie, Fury. It's very brutal. They had some very brutal violence in some parts, possibly because it's true. That's how things really were. Everyone dying, peasants, soldiers, on both sides, Americans. I won't tell you how it ends. Everyone, no, I won't tell you how it ends, but they just have the camera looking at the top of the tank and it's zooming back from the battlefield with all the wounded, and I just got that, that's like that scene from The Walking Dead. Anyway, here's another two books. This one has all of the comic book covers and some explanation how they did them, who was the artist. It's not the best artwork, not my favourite, but it gets me, it gets the idea across. It's the main thing. It's a bit bland for my liking. I'm into the more cheesy and realistic artwork of. I'm also interested in 2000 AD, and I like a lot of the artwork found in that magazine. 2000 AD magazine, which has been around since 1978, I think, with characters like Judge Dredd, Rogue Trooper, Nemesis the Warlock, Durham Red, Slain, my favourite, Strontium Dog. Slane's my favourite though, and it's been drawn by many artists. Anyway, back to this one, yeah. And there's Laurie there. She's pregnant. She's got Carl next to her, and she's in the prison looking at the zombie walkers on the other side of the fence. I could I could just spend ages going through this page by page, and like I did when I first bought it. Um, oh, Rick. Yeah, when Rick first meets the governor, he cuts off his hand, and you see it's missing here. He cuts off Rick's hand, which is a bit traumatic. That never happens in the TV series. Well, not yet, but if it does, it won't be because of the governor. Unless he miraculously, maybe he rises from the dead, comes back as a zombie and bites his arm, and they have to chop it off or something like that. They could do that, I guess. That could very well happen. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Anyway, I just bought that. I bought that the last time I was in Brisbane. I haven't looked at it properly. It appears to have a lot of the artwork, extra artwork from the comic, especially the comic book covers. Basically, that's what this book is. It's a book filled with the covers. I like those. I'm a big collector of stuff like that. Anyway, before my video ran out of space, memory, the last one, I was talking about the priest they run into. His name's Gabriel. I looked it up, I did a bit of research. I think it is the same character. I had some personal issues about the person they chose. Where am I? Oh. Just excuse me a sec, I gotta take care of something.